Hello, my name is Matthew, and Steve Donahue and I have our book club that's been going along, and for Nonfiction November, we had this idea. I had this idea that Steve liked of reading ancient Roman biographies, and so last week we read Julius Caesar by Plutarch, and then this week we read Julius Caesar by Suetonius. And I read this twice. I read a translation by Catherine Edwards in the Oxford volume, and then Robert Graves in the Penguin volume. And a lot of the fun, so much of the enjoyment of reading Suetonius's biography right after Plutarch's is seeing an individual from a different perspective, seeing what Plutarch was focusing on, and how he described the life of Julius Caesar compared to Suetonius's take on the same life. It's interesting to think about, were they reading similar sources, exact sources? Was the word on the street different? Was there a different impression of Julius Caesar? And I also liked to think about which biography Julius Caesar would have liked. And I believe, far and away, Julius Caesar, if he read both of these, would have been much more smitten with Plutarch's version. Plutarch's biographies were always paired, so Julius Caesar was right out of the gate. He was paired with Alexander the Great, who took over and ruled the whole world, known world. The thing that I think Julius Caesar would have really appreciated with Suetonius's biography is that it was titled The Divine Julius, or The Divine Caesar. So after his death, he was ascended and anointed as a god. Suetonius's version does feel more realistic, at least the first half of the biography, when it picks up when he's a teenager. And we go through some of the similar events. He's been captured by pirates. He's having internal family struggles with other families in the Roman aristocracy, and people being unhappy with who he's married with or not married with, and being exiled and those things. But the bureaucracy of the Roman Republic, all the cogs and wheels and all of these different positions that you can have, being a consul or a praetor or a ascender, and just seeing Julius Caesar not so much as this, in Plutarch's version, we have Julius Caesar reading or looking at a statue of Alexander the Great and going, well, he achieved so much when he was so young, and I haven't achieved that. And this feeling of just moonwalking up the ladder and becoming this great dictator, king, god, Julius Caesar. In Suetonius's version, we see somebody just as an opportunist and constantly positioning himself to his own advantage and looking for his position and rank and who he's going to align with, and there's multiple rumors or hints or allegations of treasonous activity and underhanded plots and conspiracies. His handling of money, he's constantly hugely in debt. He's just having money pour through his fingers, and There's debtors after him, and he has to run out of the country. Throughout his life and career, he made a point to ingratiate himself to the Roman public. He really wanted to have a positive public opinion, and it comes off as not so much about caring about the happiness or the entertainment, or caring about the leisure time of the Roman people and wanting to have theaters and circuses and gladiatorial escapades. It much more comes across as a pragmatic means to an end. How do you promote yourself? How do you have your name be memorable? And it does seem like the Roman public was very much always on his side compared to other people that come up in the biography. And when he finally does commit treason and come in with his legions of Roman soldiers, and just create a civil war until he's until he places himself as the reigning dictator. I also don't get the impression that the Roman Republic, the way the government worked, didn't feel like it was this innocent, perfectly well-oiled machine that was moving along with no trouble at all. And here comes Julius Caesar and overthrows the Roman government. It comes across as hugely corrupt and incestuous. There was a democracy. People were voting on who they want to be in these positions, but it does not feel like it was fair or even-handed. It seems like people are positioned to win in a way that is less by the interest of the Roman people and more about the people that are already in power, which is sort of a same old story. And there were already kings and dictators throughout the Roman Republic. There would be time limits and certain rules. So not a lifelong king or a lifelong dictator, but still there were opportunities already within. And the actual treasonous moment when Julius Caesar, who during those campaigns, Plutarch kind of described these when Caesar had his campaign in Gaul. He goes up north and is winning, having these fantastic victories, sometimes against all odds. Julius Caesar never lost a battle practically, and he was the most heroic and the most strategically minded, and he had hundreds of thousands of soldiers that would follow his command without disobedience, and it reads like the legendary story of Alexander the Great, which is great. Suetonius's version, when he editorializes, does show like a warmongering figure, greedy, hypocritical, bloodthirsty, heartless. He would impose the ideas of moderation to soldiers and finally to the Roman people, but he was a materialist, and he was always running himself into debt, and would have these war campaigns just to maraud these towns, to just steal all of their money and amass his own riches, and does not come off nearly as that kind of grand, larger than life, legendary figure. Just has more pronounced blood on those hands. In both biographies, I'm constantly impressed by how busy Julius Caesar is. He's constantly in a state of activity. It seems like he's lived 3 lives, always having his sights on the next step. And even when, after that long 9 or 10 year military campaign, he has the Civil War. He follows Pompey and finally becomes the dictator of Rome. There's a whole list of these like public works projects that it's just astounding to read, like infrastructure in the city and how taxes are going to work, and figuring out the calendar and building certain buildings, and how the actual workings of the government need to operate, and changing rules in the Senate, and just constantly doing something, or doing 10 things. And it's also interesting that I feel like in both biographies, the Civil War is glossed over very quickly. A lot of these wars feel like they just happen in a flash, whereas sometimes you read about wars and they go on for one battle goes on for 10 years or 20 years. All of these battles that Julius Caesar are having feels like they're over overnight, and all of a sudden he's the dictator. The Roman people are happy, and there are all the personal attributes of Julius Caesar that start coming out. How he has his thinning hair and he wisps it up and has his laurel leaves on, and he has his purple toga and gold stripes, and there's statues being built of him, and he's already a king and a god, and all these like personality traits that didn't turn out very well for him. But it seemed like a lot of the policies that he was doing for the Roman people just aligned with what the public or the citizens found to be in their interest. And aside from the whole being a king and a dictator and a god, there's a lot of moments of his leniency and understanding, which is not always 100% consistent, but it does show a complex man, not just being 100% ruthless and bloodless. So I still don't know. At the end of this, was he just a complete troublemaker? Was he a heartless tyrant? Was he just a political opportunist? Was he a madman? The one thing I can say is that he was incredibly successful in the things that he set out to do, and diverse. He was known to be an eloquent and persuasive orator. He seemed to be a competent politician. He was able to lead armies for a decade. that these armies, these soldiers, believed in him and trusted him and followed him into against all odds. So those are some of my thoughts on Plutarch, and he dies at the end. So let me know if you've read Suetonius's biography of Plutarch. Let me know if you've read both of them, like Steve and I. I believe Steve's gonna, I don't know, but maybe he's gonna make a video on both of the biographies at once. I'm not sure, but I'll look forward to that, if that's what he does. And so please leave a comment if you would like, and thank you for watching, and take care.